still daybreak here on Rise News, and it's time for the press preview. A first look on what's on the front pages as they come. Well, we start with our sister publication, This Day newspaper. And as you look at it there, you see letter to Nigerians at Democracy Day season. This is by Muhammadu Buhari, the president. I guess you go read it. The top mast, we see Presidency. No cabal influences Buhari's decisions. Says president refused to act as autocrat at APC convention. And then below that, drama in plenary as Senate majority minority leaders resign. Well, that's quite interesting. Real drama. Senate majority what? Minority leaders resign. That's found on page 5. I guess you go read it up to find out what it's talking about. Ken.
Moving on now, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. Christian Association of Nigeria, others warn parties as Buhari meets governors. The PDP names Atiku's vice presidential candidate on Thursday. Fuel subsidy surpasses health, education, welfare budgets. The World Bank is warning Nigeria. And Ekiti INEC, Inspector General of Police promised credible governorship poll. Tinubu and 14 governors campaign for APC.
Yep. All right, The Guardian still have the same letter Nigerians Democracy Day. Running mate, PDP to unveil Wike Buhari parleys APC governors. That was yesterday. This was said. Nobody was told what the meeting was about. And that's about it on The Guardian. Lawan Wajabiamila, big holes in electoral system. Bimon lawmakers lost the primaries. Ken, we're talking about this earlier on on the program. Found that on page 3. Ukraine war inflation will push 7 million Nigerians to poverty. Also on page 3. Government adopt 8 persons in Katsina. Demand 60 million naira, page 29. All right, The Guardian. Next paper.
The Nation newspaper now, and that's a letter to Nigerians on Democracy Day from President Muhammadu Buhari. At the top, PDP panel okays Nyesom Wike as Atiku Abubakar's running mate. It's on page 3. Ekiti, Tinubu, Adamu, Akande, 14 governors solicit votes for their candidate. And killings at Keredolu talks tough.
On the international papers, we look at Financial Times. Financial Times here. Coinbase cut almost a fifth of staff as crypto crunch worsens. Talking about regulation of this cryptocurrency. It has about how many riders? Growth plans ditched. Virtual currencies in retreat. Turmoil apes traditional assets. And then we'll have Johnson hires cost of living SAR, who has called for Prime Minister to be toppled. He hires him.
The Daily Express, fury as Rwanda flight blocked. A European Court of Human Rights stops deportation of migrants from Britain.
I newspaper. Hundreds cross channel despite Rwanda threat.
And the Times says European judges block deportations to Rwanda.
We'll have The Guardian. Did you take The Guardian? No, The Guardian. A European ruling throws Rwanda plan into chaos. That was the court throwing that plan into chaos. All right, we'll bring Emmanuel into the picture. Good morning, Emmanuel Bello. Glad to have you join us on Daybreak. Presidency. I mean, we can talk about the people need to go and read the letter of the president to its citizens on Democracy Day season, June 12th. Now, Presidency, no cabal influences Buhari's decisions. It says the rider there, sorry, I just lost it. The rider there says, what does it say? It says President refused to act as autocrat at APC convention. Of course, he let the players go and play in their field. Bello, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Indy, and good morning, Kenneth, once again.
Good morning.
Yes, I don't know what, I mean, why it's so important now to, just set the record straight, but I think it's a post-mortem by, Gorbachev writing for the president and say, look, well, the president did well. I think it's a way of giving the president a thumbs up for a fantastic APC convention. And we have said it here on this program, indeed, that, well, it has all the semblance of what looks like, a credible process. You had the candidates there, it was transparent, you had the sorting. That's the way primaries should be, and not some voodoo, conclave kind of situation where, and there were attempts at that. I mean, even the president himself, you can't completely absolve him of, effort to manipulate to some extent the process himself, because he started with all those talk about having a successor in mind, and nobody at the start of the year, nobody knew what he was talking about. If he had a successor, people worried that he was just going to impose someone.
Yeah, but every leader should think about having a
well,
successor.
yeah, but the way he put it, like he has somebody close to his mind, his heart, and that's at the right time. So that actually worried everyone, and worried even those who were going to run, and of course the rest of us, that are we going to have a third term of Buhari with his own hand-picked successor. Of course, every leader cares or worries about who takes the incumbent is always worried about those who, take over from them. At the state level, you have governors doing the same thing. And in one of those meetings, actually told the governors that, look, you've all had your ways with your successors, and you were able to bring them. Please allow me now to bring it was reported that he said, allow me now to bring my own successor. So everyone was worried. And then when Abdullahi Adamu came to say Lawan was the consensus candidate, that also worried and troubled so many people. But again, at Eagle Square itself on that day, we saw a clear-cut, deviation from what a lot of people had thought would happen. We had those primaries. It was so clear, the candidates were there. I mean, the aspirants were there. Eventually, the elections happened, the countings were done, consensus speeches were made, and all of that. So, yes, you might say, some people say that it was the president was actually overwhelmed or conquered, or over his initial plans were it didn't go the way he planned it, and that this was just because of the firepower of people like Tinubu and of course those who made that happen. But Gorbachev is now putting things in perspective that, look, no, all along the president have always wanted to be very fair, creating a level playing field, and that he's committed to democracy. We have seen this president in the past talking about the fact that he believes strongly in the will of the people, and that he's a beneficiary of those goodwill, and that more than 3 or 4 times he ran for this same office. So he understands very well that it's normally impositions are very terrible things. He has also seen the evil of skewed elections, and how anyone could feel if they are cheated in this kind of contest, and that left for him, he will go for transparent election. He will go for elections that are credible. And in conjunction with INEC, I think they've been able to some extent provide some kind of level play. INEC now is always boastful that, look, it's going to have AKT is down the line. We're going to see how that happens. INEC boasting that it's going to improve on elections, and that votes are going to count. At the APC convention, we saw some of that happening, and gave it a semblance of a credible kind of event or exercise. So we hope to see more of that at the real general elections.
Well, while we look forward to that, the general election in 2023, Emmanuel, in the southwestern Ekiti state, the All Progressives Congress has been campaigning for their candidate over there. And there's a candidate for Labour Party, and the presidential candidate for Labour Party, Peter Obi, has made the trip to Egypt. If the director can put up a tweet, he tweeted this just before he left, and there's been criticism from different quarters. And well, the candidate from Shawore, one of the presidential candidates, has joined the train to criticize Peter Obi's decision to leave for Egypt. 2 questions, Emmanuel. Should Peter Obi be leaving for Egypt to go study the power situation over there? Shouldn't he be in Ekiti studying? Is this the right time to have done that?
Well, yeah, those criticizing Kenneth are saying the same thing that you are saying, which is the fact that, look, you should be on ground. Yeah, I think Peter Obi has this entire, and that's why some people think that he's stronger with the social media and everything. He has already said he doesn't need any structure. The people are his structures and all that. I saw someone yesterday saying that, look, this is the same style employed by Kingsley Bogalu in the last election, who was just counting on, you know, what he's saying, you know, the activism of young people on social media, saying that, well, he's counting on that. But you say this is rare politics. You need boots on the ground, and you need to be present. The idea of jetting out, the optics of it, that an election is going to happen in Ekiti, and then all the other presidential candidates are there rooting and, you know, rallying the base of their party for their candidates, and then you left. It's almost like the first test of what you can do in this presidential cycle.
You're
so
the leader of
living,
the party.
yeah, exactly, living for Egypt sent the wrong signal. Well, again, there are people who are also defending that, he needs to prepare for what is most important, which is leading this country and going to learn whatever it is that he's going to learn in Egypt. But yes, the optics are wrong. It's rare politics. He is more idealistic. He believes that his good records, his records that people have actually even fact-checked or are fact-checking and even questioning in most cases, looking at reports from his tenure when he was governor. And then he's also banking on the zest and the exuberance that you find everywhere, that young people probably are going to just troop out and vote for him. So maybe he's counting on that and things that, look, being on ground. Winning Ekiti for any party will really help in the presidential race, but of course maybe Peter Obi is looking beyond winning states elections and looking straight up to winning the presidential election. And whether you like it or not, there's a lot of enthusiasm around him and a lot of fan base, especially on the social media. Some people worrying that he might end up just winning this presidential race on the social media, and not on the grounds.
On social media, votes are done with boots on the ground. But we'll see how that plays out. As the leader of the party, wrong timing. It looks like a wrong timing, to move out. It looks like you're leaving your party to do what they want to do, and then you go do that's what it looks like, But I am still on this day. Drama in plenary as Senate majority and minority leaders resign. And then there was a talk, I don't know which paper was that now, well, we're talking about
running mates.
Not running mates. Lawan Bajabiamela big holes. That's the Guardian. In electoral system, bemoan lawmakers' loss of primaries. And myself and Kenneth were talking about it, and they were saying that they would change it so you have direct primaries. And I was telling Kenneth that direct primaries. Can you imagine that convention having direct primaries? We stayed there 2 days, and it was tiring. I was fagged out. Can you imagine direct primaries?
And I think I saw direct primaries in one of the states, and it's still very rancorous up to now. They've not gotten around the issue of even the candidacy. They are still quarreling or arguing about that, and that's because it was direct primaries. And indirect primary would have been much more organized, something that you can actually work on. But again, yes, there's been a lot of loss. Many of the lawmakers are not coming back, and some are actually cross-carpeting. And it's dramatic that the majority leader and the minority leader all left their parties to cross carpet. So yes, that's the mild drama that happened yesterday. But then it's the gale of the season. It's happening everywhere. People are moving from their parties, going to other parties, and in most cases, in fact, in all of the cases, it's about positioning themselves better, getting better links, getting better positioning to see how much they become relevant. So nothing. It's just politics at its best, and people just shifting. You can say maybe it lacks a lot of principle behind it, but politicians.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is it politics at its best?
You can the kind of politics we do here, which is so easy for people to just move from one aisle to the other. But in most cases, it's about positioning. It's about strategy. It's also about where you can gain the most.
Plums. You're very correct. Get the plums of democracy and of party politics.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your time.